Good morning guys, welcome back to another reading vlog. My first reading vlog in the new house. I am currently dog sitting the two doodles for my parents, but they're being a little bit of a pain in the butt this morning and I've had a stressful morning, but it is a Saturday. I'm ready for a weekend of content creation and reading. Yeah, honestly still kind of settling into a new routine in a new house. It will get there. I'm not like stressed about it, so you know, good. This is the plan for today. Is I want today to be more of a content creation day. I've got some videos, some like standard not vlog videos to film today, and then after that's done I'm gonna read, because I want to get as much of that done today as possible so that tomorrow can just be a chilled out reading day. I don't really have anything on my to-do list. Oh, sorry, I've just kicked the dog in the face. Currently reading From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a reread. The first two books in this series are a reread for me, and I have finally decided that I want to continue with this series. I'm really in the mood for it. I have really been craving a continuation, but it's been 2 years since I last read books 1 and 2, so definitely due for a reread before I continue with the rest of them. I know they have mixed reviews for the direction that the series takes, but I am really intrigued by it and I kind of just want to make that decision for myself. I've heard arguments on both sides. All it's done is intrigue me and make me want to read this book more, so yeah, I'm coming back. I'm back in my From Blood and Ash era. Loving this just as much the second time around. I think I gave this 4 or 5 stars the first time I read this. It's a romantasy that's very like squealing, kicking your feet over these characters. The book follows our main character Poppy, and she has been deemed the maiden by this society, and she has to undergo this like ascension, this like rite, and because she's the maiden this is supposed to be incredibly important, so they keep her incredibly sheltered and basically a prisoner so that this rite can occur, but Poppy isn't particularly content to just live this sheltered life. The book starts with her sneaking out, so she's definitely not a meek character. She's not content to just have this life that she's been given. We see her having a lot of doubts about her role as the maiden and what it is that she's doing, and feeling guilty because she's been taught her whole life that she, you know, the fact that she's the maiden and will undergo this rite of passage is such an honor, but she doesn't really feel that way. She feels quite scared for what she's going to be put through. We follow her as she is assigned a new personal guard because the enemy is trying to kill her to stop this rite from happening, and we follow the romantasy between her and her personal guard, and it's juicy. It's a good one. It takes many twists and turns if I remember rightly, and I did really enjoy it the last time I read it, so looking forward to this reread. And honestly I'm just I'm in my romantasy era at the moment, and I'm sure, like, honestly, by the time I finish this book I could be out of the romantasy era, because I don't know if this is going to be an era that sticks around for a while or not, but I have just been craving romantasy, like a good romantasy, and I've bought quite a few, and most of them are self-pubbed, so I've spent like £15 on each book just to have like physical copies of romantasies that I am really in the mood for. So yeah, plan for the day is a lot of filming and content creation, and I will catch up with you when I have an update. Video filming took more time and more outfit changes than I expected it to, but we are done now and I can get a little bit of reading of From Blood and Ash in before my fiance gets home from work, and then we've got to take very sleepy dog on a walk. But I am on page 186 of From Blood and Ash. Hawk has just been assigned as Poppy's personal guard. It is interesting rereading it knowing what happens, because I've read this book before. It's kind of fun, but it's also difficult for me to reread because I'm rereading it because I want to continue with the series, and I don't think I remember enough, especially of book 2, to just like go into book 3. But it's annoying because I just want to keep going, so it's frustrating as I'm reading this for stuff to be coming back to me, and I'm like, oh, I just want to be on book 3, and I'm having to reread books 1 and 2. But I am having a good time with it. It's just slightly annoying experience. But yeah, I'm gonna do some reading now because I just feel like I've been talking to a camera all morning, and I'm just done with it, but I'll catch up with you in a bit. It is quite a bit later now. I have done so much reading today, but also took the dogs on a nice long walk, went to the gym, did a strength session, and I am hurting already, so you know, that's fun. No, Marvin is just being so clingy. I am 450 pages into From Blood and Ash. I don't have much left to read. Looking forward to getting this last little bit done tomorrow. This book is as good as I remember it being. It's just addictive. Like, it is a little intense in the beginning. Like, this is a really long book, and from what I've seen, they just get longer. It's the one thing with romantasy, they can be a little bit boring to get into because you need to set up the basis of the plot, introduce the whole world, introduce a magic system if you have one, or a god system like we do in this book, and then also lay the groundwork for the actual romance as well. Like, do you mind? There is a lot that needs doing in a romantasy, which means they can take a little while to really get going, and that is definitely the case with this book. But it hits a point, and I don't even know at what point that is, like I cannot tell you, but it hits a point and it just becomes addictive. Like, I think I have read 250 to 300 pages today. I just have not been able to stop. It is so addictive and so readable. I think that's what romantasy is doing really well. It is just so accessible for a multitude of readers. It's got fantasy, it's got romance, it isn't necessarily as complicated as other hardcore adult fantasies are. It's just very, very accessible, and this book is no different. It's so readable, so fun. I really, really, really love the characters and the banter that they have. It is very like squealing king my feet. I stopped reading just before like a fun spicy scene. This book isn't even that spicy, but I stopped reading like before a fun scene, went to the gym and was like, okay, that can be my reward when I get back. Like, they're so addictive and fun together as characters. I love them, and I'm so excited to read the rest of the series to see what happens. And yeah, I'm gonna call it a night now in terms of vlogging. I appreciate I haven't vlogged much today, but it's been a very get stuff done day, and tomorrow is going to be my main like sit down and just read day, so I will catch up with you guys in the morning. Good morning guys, happy Sunday. I feel tired today. I feel less tired in some ways than yesterday. Like, the dogs weren't as restless and so kind of let me sleep more, but I don't know, I like then got up and it just felt like I had so much to do, even though I tried to do everything yesterday. But it's fine. I'm ready to sit down, have some breakfast, and sit and finish From Blood and Ash this morning, and then we can pick out another book. But yeah, the dogs are just staring at me. I don't even know what they want. They've been outside, they've had breakfast. I'm assuming they want to go like out, but that's gonna have to wait. So yeah, just gonna make a coffee. Have some breakfast and chill and read for a little bit, because I feel like I just got up and then I had like laundry to finish and cleaning up to finish and washing up to finish, washing up to put away. I knew that I would have housework to do when I moved out. I knew that, obviously. I just didn't realize how constant it was. I'm not gonna complain because I've been wanting this for a long time, so I'm not gonna get it and then moan about it. But yeah, it does just feel like every single morning. It does just feel like all I do most days is clean and tidy. But oh well. I'm so close to finishing From Blood and Ash, and I'm gonna sit down and just completely finish it. Had to go and take the dogs for a walk and run errands, but I am here to pick my next read for after I finish this book, because I think I'm gonna be able to finish it straight away. We've got some options. I could go straight into Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is very, very tempting. I could read Court of the Undying Seasons, which is a vampire book, which is very tempting. I picked this up at Yelp, and it's quite a short read. I think it could be a quick read. I also have The Ever King. I've been hearing really good things about this series. I have a lot of romantasy to get through. Most of my unread books are romantasy books, so could read one of them, or I could just read a romance. I've got some romances that I could read. Options for romance would probably be a reread of Twisted Games, or I could read the next book in the Bridgerton series. I could read The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary, haven't got to that one yet. I could read The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary. That's a very tempting option, actually. I'm very tempted by that. So yeah, we've got options, but I'm gonna finish the book, see how I feel after finishing the book. Maybe I will ask Instagram what I should do, so I'll let you know. I have now finished From Blood and Ash. This book has one of the best finishing lines of any book. Like, the way this ends on a cliffhanger and a way to set up the next book is just so good. I genuinely think I'm gonna go straight into the next book. I asked on Instagram if I should read a romance or a romantasy next, just to try and narrow down the options a little bit, and romantasy is currently winning by over 80%, so I don't see that really flipping in the other direction. So gonna read another romantasy. My options are Court of the Undying Seasons, The Ever King, or going straight into Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and Kingdom of Flesh and Fire is winning. I just think the ending of this book is so intriguing, and I remembered a lot of this book, but I really don't remember a lot of the next book. I just remember how it ends, but I have no idea what happens in the actual space of the book, and I'm really excited to continue with this series. I have an idea of the direction this series takes and why people don't like it, but it is it's hinted at in this book. Like, the groundwork is being laid in this book for the direction that it's gonna take, so I'm kind of surprised that people are so against it, because it's all laid out. But obviously I will share my thoughts when I actually get further into the series and can talk about it a bit more and have actually read it for myself. But yeah, I really like this book. If you are looking for just a solid romantasy, I think this is great. It does both elements really well. It has a fantasy world that is really interesting. It has a really interesting take on an overdone concept, like overdone fantastical creatures that we have read so much from for so long. It takes that and does it in a really interesting way, and brings a lot of interesting political elements into it too. So the fantasy world is great, and then I just think the relationship between Poppy and Hawke is really well handled and really well done. And you might think that it's kind of fast paced, but then every time you take a couple steps forward, something happens and you end up going backwards, and it's just really good, and I love this series so much. And so if you really want a fun romantasy series, this is it, because as well as it being fun, it's also just well written and has really good elements of fantasy as well as romance. So loving this. Going to immediately pick up this book now, and I'm not even sorry, I'm just gonna binge read them because I am obsessed. Hi guys, it is now Monday. I have been bad at the vlogging thing, but I haven't been bad at the reading thing. I'm 128 pages into Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. It's just so readable. I think that's something Jennifer Armentrout does so well, is just make them really accessible and readable. I remember not liking this book as much the first time that I read it, and there's definitely still room for that to occur. I'm not very far into this story, but what I remember hating about it is that it becomes a lot more about the fantasy elements, as most book twos in romantasies do. That is kind of just a trend. In order for the story to continue and to progress, you have to really emphasize some of the fantasy elements over the romance elements. Not to say that there are no romance elements in this book, it is definitely still engaging, but from what I remember, it does focus more on the world building and the actual plot of the book, and that was something that bored me a little bit last time. And I'm happy to say that that's not happening in brackets yet. It might still happen, but to be honest, last time I read these books I was in it purely for the romance. I was really starting to lose my fantasy enjoyment. I read these like right at the point in time when I was realizing that fantasy wasn't really for me anymore, and I was switching to completely reading romance. And now that I am back to liking fantasy again and can really appreciate fantasy again, and I've had enough of a break from it to not feel like bored or overwhelmed by it, I'm hoping that I will have like a better experience with this book. Not like I had a good experience last time, but I'm hoping that I won't feel any like ounces of boredom, and that's definitely like the case now. Like, I'm fascinated by the world. I'm currently really enjoying getting to understand more about this magic system and like the hints at what the actual plot is going to be, not just hints at where the romance is going to go, hints at like the twists and the turns and the world building and things like that. And I'm hoping to like enjoy it just as much, if not more, the second time around, because I'm more in a mindset to appreciate fantasy. So yeah, I'm just on my lunch break now. I'm gonna make a sandwich and do some more reading for the next hour, and then Jack's working until like 8 o'clock-ish tonight, so I'll have a good couple hours of reading before he gets back and have to like be a productive human again. So I'm kind of planning on just vegging out on the sofa for the rest of the day. I'm gonna work from the sofa for the rest of the day and then immediately start reading once it hits 5 o'clock. This work from home life is it's really quite suited to me, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I will catch up with you probably once I finish work and I can actually like be reading and giving updates and stuff. Got sleeping dog number 1. Sleeping dog number 2. I have finished work for the day, if you can't tell by the fact that it is pitch black and I'm using artificial lighting. It is a little later than I wanted to start reading. It is 6 o'clock, but after I'd done like all the tasks I needed to do, like letting the dogs outside, feeding them, that sort of stuff, I just wanted to get a little bit ahead on editing. So I spent the past like half hour, 40 minutes just getting a little bit ahead on my editing, but I am ready to dive into Kingdom of Flesh and Fire now. I've still got time for a solid couple hours of reading, and I am excited to see how much progress we make. I read to page 152 on my lunch break. Definitely thinking I'll be cracking 100 pages tonight, so I'll maybe catch up with you when I've done that, or when something exciting happens, or just when I have some thoughts, to be honest. But yeah, for now I've got reading vlogs on in the background. I am wedged into the sofa by 2 sleeping puppies and I'm gonna read. I have Marvin sleeping on top of me, or not sleeping but resting on top of me. I have successfully read 100 pages of Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. This book is so good because not only am I so interested in like the fantasy elements in a way that I imagine I probably wasn't the first time, I think Jennifer L. Armentrout does a really, really good job of keeping the romance fresh. Like a book series that comes to mind is the A Touch of Darkness series. That one gets a little bit repetitive. I think that like really smutty romantasies can feel a little bit repetitive, or it's really hard to keep any tension in the relationship if you're gonna go down the path of them getting together in book 1 and staying together in book 2. But Jennifer L. Armentrout has done a really good job of drawing out that tension and introducing new tropes in a really interesting way into a relationship we've already seen. But I think she also does a really good job of character development for Poppy. but also just, there's like a duality to Hawke. I don't want to spoil anything, but she does a really good job of kind of giving him two distinct characters, and it's really interesting to get to see them, like the different versions of themselves fall in love in this book, and I'm really enjoying it, and seeing a lot more hints for like what I believe is going to happen in book 3. So yeah, very excited to continue with this series. I've got like quite the headache now and I'm so hungry, so I don't think I'm gonna do any more reading tonight, just because my head is pounding, and I think over 100 pages for the day is plenty. So I'm just gonna watch some TV and enjoy my cuddle with Marvin on the sofa. So I'm just popping in here to end the vlog. I do think I had a great week of reading. It's been one of my most productive. I did kind of just finish one book in a series and then just go straight into the other, so I've been binge reading a little bit, but that is hardly a bad thing. I mean, I think I could do with doing a little bit more binge reading so that I actually do finish a series, because I get to the end of a book and then I really want to continue and I just never get around to it. So I think pushing myself to binge read series a little bit more is going to be really helpful for actually getting some of them finished. I'm still kind of adjusting to a new schedule and a new routine. I do think I'm getting there, but it's not as, I don't feel as settled as I could do, but it will come with time. I do enjoy that I seem to have a lot of time for reading nowadays, and that I'm really enjoying using the time that I have for reading. So yeah, things are definitely like improving and I'm settling a lot more, and I feel a lot better now that I have shelves up and things like that. So yeah, looking forward to continuing the next week in the same fashion as this one. Looking forward to reading more books that I'm really excited about and keeping it going in that sense. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video and you would like to see more reading vlogs from me, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. Do feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at @pageinchapter, just if you would like to see some more content from me. And yeah, I feel like I have chatted to you guys enough in this video, so without further ado, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you're enjoying everything you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future, and I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.